Nice to see you here, sir. Thought you'd be chatting up what's-her-name? Tassoni?
Liara, why would you think that?
Scuttlebutt says you got a bit of a thing for her.
Scuttlebutt?
I can understand why.
Listen,
The crew's
everyone
off
knows
limits
Scuttlebutt's
with
an
the
asshole.
regs against fraternization. And at least she looks
You
like
can't
one.
trust the guy.
I'm gonna assume Scuttlebutt is Caden, but I'm gonna call him that from now on.
I mean, I don't think it's a nickname. It's like just a word for like rumors and stuff.
Oh.
But I
You
do
think
like
I'm
the idea of a
interested in Liara because she's the
Scuttlebutt.
only one I'm allowed to date?
So you are interested in her.
Scuttlebutt, put us in warp drive.
Of course, it could be politics. Alien diplomat's daughter, us under orders to make nice with the bug-eyed monsters. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on Family Mail.
Yes, I did.
Also, you're racist.
I was just going through your locker, by the way.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Not sure I buy Dr. Tassoni's story about her and her mom not talking. They're family, right?
I think she's being straight with us. Or at least, I don't think she lies very often.
Yeah, she's probably really bad at it. Hey, want me to ask her about her sex life? Might be illuminating.
Oh, come on. None of them are yes?
Anyway, how was your sex life?
That's between you and her.
Scuttlebutt says otherwise.
Damn him!
Too bad those ruins got destroyed. I mean, they lasted thousands of years. That's impressive.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
What happened?
I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes, a meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk.
It sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Jared was your father?
He was, until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back. Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father. I swore to recover my family's battle armor. It was taken from him after the uprising.
What's so important about this armor?
It's a relic. Useless, really. But it was worn by 5 generations of my family before the war. It's rightfully mine. Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons after the war. Now, it's in the hands of Taun Actus, a Turian scum who collects relics from the war. He's made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people. He's got several bases where he stores his goods, all fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor.
Just tell me where to start looking.
I'll upload the data to your nav system. But Commander, I want to be there when you find him.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things. I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly.
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
I remember this one L-Corps diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs, had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that clear-cut.
Murderous intent. How are you today, citizen? Would you like to come to my place for a coffee?
That's awesome.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Salarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle. I brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes, walking, living test tubes. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him. He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him. I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs, but they wouldn't listen.
No wonder you hated it there. Those idiots just let him fly away.
Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
A few casualties is a small price to pay to stop someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those hostages might be wishing they'd died by now anyway. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salion?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced.
Not even a real doctor anymore, he just plays in a funk band.
They're
pretty good, actually. I'm gonna lend you some of their albums. Anyway, I'm going to a concert this Thursday.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
Hey, Caden. I mean, Scuttlebutt.
You want to get some jalapeno risotto poppers down in the fuck shack?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I'll have a better handle on all of it when my head stops hurting. Another L2 flare-up.
Anything I can do?
No, Commander, it'll settle down. It's rough sometimes, but they spike higher than a lot of L3s. Except for you, of course. Besides, I fared a lot better than some after Kinetics was through.
I haven't heard anything about kinetics in a while.
Yeah, they quietly disappeared. Broke up into a bunch of little corps after they botched the training on Jump Zero. After first contact, Kinetics was set up to track Element Zero exposures and develop implants for humans. Once we had an embassy on the Citadel, Kinetics could bring in experts instead of taking it slow.
The only experts would have to be aliens.
Dead on. Turians, actually. That's why Canadics kept it a secret. They were afraid of what people back home would think, asking the Turians for help when we just fought a war with them.
I'm sure Canadics did what they thought was best.
It wasn't best for us. They brought in an ex-military Turian named Commander Vernus. A real hard-ass. He basically had a free pass to break us if it would turn out a decent biotic.
Did he ever face charges for that?
He got his, yeah. But like everything else at Jump Zero, it was under the table. The less said, the better. Anyway, this is ancient stuff. I walked it off a long time ago. I should get back to my duties, Commander. We're here to make history, not rehash it.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Dr. Tassoni. Seems like a sweet girl. Easy on the eyes. I mean, if you like the bookish sort.
Oh, I do.
Oh, Caden.
Any intentions there, Lieutenant?
No, Commander. Just art appreciation.
Commander, I poopied my doo-doo.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
Right as I'm drinking water.
Maybe we could pick up where we left off. You were telling me about your interest in the Protheans.
Actually, I think I was talking about my interest in you, and making a fool of myself in the process. As I said, I am not used to dealing with people, especially humans. I did not really know much about your species when we first met, Shepard. I found it hard to take humanity seriously. Your kind always seemed so rushed and high-strung.
We don't have the luxury of time. An Asari can live for 1,000 years. We're lucky if we hit 150.
That is true. At first I thought that was a weakness of your species. After spending time with you and your crew, however, I think it may actually be an advantage. You humans are creatures of action. You pursue your goals with an almost indomitable determination. It is an admirable trait, but also an intimidating one.
You can't argue with results.
No, but there are consequences.
You're right.
Unfortunately,
We are
the rest
great.
Of the galaxy sees
Bye.
you. You run over anyone who gets in your way. It is up to people like you to change their minds, Shepard.
Why me?
There is a reason the Council chose you to become a Spectre. They saw something special in you. The best of what humanity has to offer. I looked into your history. I know what happened on Akuz. The fact that you survived shows a remarkable strength.
Thanks, I love thinking about it.
You didn't need to go behind my back. I would have told you whatever you wanted to know.
I wanted to know more about you. To understand what made you into the man you are. There is something compelling about you, Shepard.
Oh, she's getting her flirt on.
Oh.
I don't know.
Unacceptable. You're wrong.
There is nothing compelling about me at all.
I suck.
You're interested in me because of my visions. You just want to know more about the Protheans.
I admit, your connection to the Protheans had something to do with my initial interest, but it has grown beyond that. You intrigue me, Shepard, but I was not sure if it was appropriate to act on my feelings.
That time I saw you
I felt
stick
there
your
might
hand
already be
directly into a
relationship
deep
between
fryer
you
and
Chief Williams.
Williams and I are just friends, nothing more.
My mistake, then. I am not as adept at understanding human relationships as I thought. But what about us, Shepard? Is there a mutual attraction, or was I wrong about that too?
I don't want
She is not letting this go.
I don't want to let people down.
I'm not interested in you in that way, Liara.
This is very embarrassing for me, Commander. Please, let's talk about something else.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
This hurts you, doesn't it?
None of this makes any sense to me. I have not spoken to Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like her. Something changed.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
The MSV Ontario.
Hey.
We're going to Ontario.
Let's get us some bagged milk.
Bagged milk.
Yeah, that's a thing in Ontario.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why Americans are like, oh, all over Canada they drink milk out of bags. Because the people in Ontario were like, yeah, we have milk in bags.
Huh. So do you like third-person shooters or first-person shooters? Better.
Kill the hostage.
I guess in general, first-person shooters, like, most third-person shooters just, like, control kind of awkwardly to me.
Oh god, I keep getting hit with biotics. I gotta get to the hostage before they kill it. No! Get up, Crunk!
No!
See how it is? You write letters and everyone ignores you. Force is the only thing people appreciate. So how about if I kill Chairman Burns and finish this charade?
Please, I was trying to help you people.
Don't be stupid, Chairman Burns.
Let's not do anything we're all going to regret.
Why not? What have we got to lose? Since the chairman here decided that we didn't get reparations, we've got nothing left to live for.
But I've changed my mind. Seeing you all, it's clear that you all deserve...
You had your chance. Some L2s are nearly crippled from side effects of the implants, but you voted against reparations.
If you die fighting, you'll get a lot of biotics killed as well.
What do you mean?
He's suddenly humbled.
Wait, fighting kills people?
You've just made all L2 biotics look like terrorists. Think of what will happen to them.
But people need to hear about what the government has done and what it has failed to do.
People have heard. You've already accomplished that. You don't need to die for it.
Shut up, nerd.
You're right. I don't want to die. Maybe something will happen this time. We surrender.
Thank you, Commander. I thought I was dead.
Everything's good now, Commander. They're my
I'll
friends.
see to it the reparations discussion is reopened. I didn't know they were so desperate.
Then you weren't doing your job. A 5th Fleet cruiser will pick you and the prisoners up.
I like how they're all still locked in their combat positions. I wonder if I can kill them.
Oh man. What's the point?
I want to kill civilians.
That's why I joined the military.
That's why I became a Spectre, so no one can control me and my unbridled rage.
I actually really want to try out a Shadowrun on the Genesis.
I know I've heard the name. I don't remember. I'm assuming it's Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's actually based off of like a tabletop game.
That's a Thresher mock.
Okay, that's cool.
Those come up from time to time.
But it's basically like Cyberpunk in like sort of a Dungeons and Dragons kind of universe.
Oh, okay.
So you've got like elven hackers and shit.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And is it like a single player like narrative RPG or something?
I think it's like sort of like I guess like sort of a run and gun RPG kind of thing. It's like all top down. I don't know a whole lot about the actual gameplay. But yeah, like I just thought the environment sounded kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm also really excited to see whatever Bethesda's cooking up with their sci-fi RPG.
Oh yeah.
Because out of all of the developers to make a game that's like, go to any planet you want, do anything you want, do it whatever way you want, it's Bethesda that'll get it right. They've proven it, like with Fallout and Skyrim, that they just know how to do that.
Yeah. In terms of design, I think they've proven they can do it right. You know, I'm sure it's going to be a glitchy mess. But...
Yeah. Fallout 4 wasn't very glitchy on its launch, though, but... I'm one of the few people that thought it was significantly better than previous Fallouts, though. But a
Yeah,
lot
why
of people,
didn't people like it?
the biggest complaint I hear is, see, in my opinion, maybe it's just because my taste is different, but they added voice acting, and they took away some minor freedoms because of that. So, like in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, you had like 4 dialogue options, and they were like yes, no, and maybe. And I don't know, something else. Let's just say 3. Yes, no, and maybe. When you clicked those, the game reacted as if that's what your character said, because there was no voice acting for your character, right?
Right.
But in Fallout 4, it follows sort of a standard that like Mass Effect probably in Dragon Age set, where there's voice acting, there's still the dialogue choices, but when you pick one, your character actually says it. But people were weirdly like pissed off that when you pick the option that says yes, your character doesn't say yes, your character says like, sure, I'll do it. But it's like, it means yes.
Yeah.
But people were like upset about it, and I've never been someone, I appreciate that they put voice acting in, because I'm someone who I get really into my character, and to a certain extent, the lack of voice acting doesn't bother me, but when there is voice acting, I actually find it more immersive.
Yeah.
But I understand the people that are like, oh, I don't like it. But that being said, as long as you're someone who games on PC anyway, you could just install a mod that disables the voice acting.
Yeah.
And like, people made mods that changed the user interface because people didn't like it. I didn't have a problem with it, but people didn't like it. But the mods were more or less changing it to be exactly like Fallout 3. And it's like,
This place looks
just play
abandoned.
Fallout 3 then.
On my way.
I actually like it when sequels try to reinvent the genre again.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I really appreciate Breath of the Wild, because it's a Zelda game, but it's a Zelda game that just tried to be like, it didn't stop at being a Zelda game, it tried to be a new standard for open world.
According to these data logs,
Yeah, like if you're not
Soviets
gonna
unearthed some kind of
like if you're not gonna
alien
make any
technology.
significant changes, then just re-release the same game again, because people have shown that they'll buy it.
Which is what Bethesda's done with Skyrim.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'll actually be mildly disappointed if The Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and you don't have voice acted character. Because I completely forgive it in Skyrim, because Skyrim's from the time period in Bethesda's games where they didn't have that.
Yeah.
But now that Fallout 4 has shown that they do that, I think The Elder Scrolls 6 would just feel dated if it didn't. And they could easily just meet people in the middle. They could just record voice acting for it, but give you an in-game option to turn it off, and then both sides of the fence are happy.
Yeah.
So what is it about, fuck off, third-person shooters as opposed to first-person shooters that you, like or dislike?
I don't really think it's like anything about the actual mechanics of a third-person shooter. Because, I mean, like, Vanquish, I think, is basically a perfect game. I just find that most of them, like, they don't feel like they control all that well. They just feel kind of, like, loose and, like, not responsive enough, especially when, you know, you have to take cover. And it's like, oh, okay, you have to, you know, press up against this rock, but not like that.
I feel like that is something that gets, like, it's sort of like when you play like that accounts for all the Survey team, they were turned into husks. How the Geth technology came to be here is a mystery.
Okay, thanks God.
Side note, the fact that those types of messages appear, though, I think that actually shows Mass Effect's tabletop RPG influences.
Yeah.
What was I about to say? About like the cover type thing. I think that's something that continues to get better, though.
Yeah.
Just as like it's like how there's technically third-person shooters on like the Nintendo 64, but they're nothing like this, because as developers got more and more used to it, they got better and better at doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that Like, if that's your complaint, maybe some more modern games don't have the same issues that you have with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Mass Effect 1 specifically, there actually are moments where even I'm like, fucking just bind to the wall, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I don't actually recall in 2 or 3 if I ever had any problems. But again, like, Mass Effect's one of those franchises where this trilogy, I've played it so many times that I just sort of, I know what surface I can and can't bind to.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that is just I'm so used to the rule the game sets for itself as opposed to the genre.
Mm-hmm.
And it especially helps when you're used to the games that do it a certain way and everybody else sort of follows that kind of suit, but maybe you're used to a different way. So when you play 80% of the games that do it the other way, it conflicts with your... It's like the whole... When a side-scroller is more similar to Sonic than Mario, you might be better at it than I am kind of deal.
Yeah.
There you are. We're gonna go find Dr. Hart. Or Dr. Salion. And we're gonna buy his album. And you'll notice even the spaceships you board, they all follow the same... like... They're all the same shape.
Yeah.
But that's, like... I almost give BioWare credit. They did a lot with a little. And I feel like it's less about lazy developing and more about probably the funds EA granted them.
Yeah.
For, like, a new IP.
Yeah, I think it says something that you kind of have to be paying attention to notice that it's the same layout, and that, you know, you're not just like, oh, this is just the same thing over and over again.
Thank you. Thank you for saving me from those things.
Commander, that's him. That's Dr. Salion.
What? My name is Hart. Dr. Hart. Please, get me out of here.
Are you sure it's him?
Positive. There's no escape this time, Doctor. I'd harvest your organs first, but we don't have the time.
You're crazy. He's crazy! Please, don't let him do this to me.
Put him out of his misery so we can get going.
Gladly. Your days of butchering are over, Doctor.
No! Please! Please!
I always love doing that. It's just so real that he, like, runs away and his body just goes flying.
That's when another Solarian walks through the door. Dr. Hart, I'm back. It's me, Dr. Solarian. Or Dr. Salion.
Remember that.
I'm the Solarian, Dr. Solarian.
I'm Dr. Human.
Wait, where's my partner? Hugh Man. Let's get Rex's family tartan.
That's why I'm, like, falling in love with indie games, because they're just... It's back to how it used to be.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you look at games... If you look at games like, Zelda 2, just as on a surface level, Metroid, Mario, and Mega Man, they're all 2D side-scrollers. But they all played so different and felt so different.
Yeah.
And it's because developers had to be like, okay, we have, like, limited resources. How do we make this our own? And nowadays, it's like, you want to make a cool new whatever game that's going to really grab people's attention? It's either going to cost you billions, so if you need to make a profit to stay in business, you either can't do that, or you have to copy what everybody else has already done, or just make an indie game. And for, like, a decade, if not more, those types of games just didn't happen for that reason.
Yeah.
But now indie games have become, like, so much of a success on their own that you're seeing those, like, really creative new ideas again. And you're seeing indie development studios basically becoming AAA studios because their indie games have gained so much popularity that now those specific studios have become, like, synonymous with the idea of a good game.
Yeah.
So you're seeing them get, like, huge budgets to make like a cool new good graphic thing, all because they made like 6 8-bit games that people loved.
Well, I think it's cool. Like, there's so much more. Like, it's like a wider variety of territory that gets explored in indie games. Like, you know, there's a lot of sort of like throwback pixel art things which are cool. There's, you know, stuff that experiments visually, some stuff that experiments like thematically, like Journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just so much more of a like an interesting scene going on.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too about indie games. They have this cool new idea that's like, oh man, I'm so excited to play that. And on top of that, because of how cheaply developed it was, just because it's not this gigantic AAA graphics heavy thing, it's like $25. It's like, fuck yes. Dead. Oh no, now you're dead.
Yeah, like I feel like I actually get more like invested in a lot of indie games than I do in most AAA things, because it, you know, it sort of feels like, oh, this is a thing that I discovered. Mm-hmm. Well, like with I mean, I know I've talked, you know, in our videos and on the podcast about how much I love Floor Kids, and
yeah,
like the lead artist on it is constantly posting like, oh, you know, here are the character sketches I did, where like I individually sketched out like every frame for every single move based on like what I personally know how to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's just cool getting like that sort of detail and investment in the games.
Liara is dead.
Oh jeez.
Get in there, Rex.
Make us proud.
Well, that's why you got like a rocket. Ooh. Get in there, Rex. Go kill him. Yay!
This is it. I can't believe my ancestors ever wore this piece of crap. But at least I've got it
That's
back.
what I always say about, you know, trusted family heirlooms.
I'm glad we could help you get it back.
I might just be starting to like you, Shepard.
Wait, just right now? Rex, I always liked you.
I like that. He touches his grandfather's armor. His expression. Thoughtful? Perhaps? Grogans are hard to read, but he shakes off his bemusement and grips his gun with renewed purpose.
Okay, bemused isn't thoughtful.